The message that we have to reduce our social interactions to limit the spread of COVID-19 is clear, but not everyone is heeding that warning. There have been more than 36,000 new cases across Canada in the past 2 weeks. That's more than we recorded in the first 12 weeks since the novel coronavirus arrived in the country. Contact tracing is proving difficult in some provinces as people mask their behavior. As Mike Drolet explains, it's hard to convince the public to follow the rules when political leaders aren't leading by example.
On Thanksgiving, Ontarians were told to keep their gatherings small. And on Halloween, kids in several regions won't be allowed to trick or treat.
Thank you.
Sacrifices, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said, that were for the greater good. Yet this week, one of his MPPs, Sam Oosterhoff, was outed for hosting a 40-person dinner in a private room at a restaurant. Nary a mask could be seen, and when told to wear them, he and his group said no. And when pressed on the issue, Ford said an apology was enough.
We all have to do better. I have to do better. Sam has to do better.
Not surprisingly, Ford is getting an earful on social media. And while this is a single isolated case, most of the responses raise the question of an erosion in public trust.
I think that the majority of people would like to do the right thing, but what is the right thing to do? That message is getting confusing and is, and in some ways not really making a lot of sense.
And epidemiologists say that public confusion is already having a negative impact on measures like mask wearing and distancing.
People, social gathering.
Which in turn damages the efficiency of contact tracing, which relies on memory and honesty.
I think people are, whether it's shame or whether it's fear of penalty, but are not reporting who they've contacted, have not reporting where they may have come in contact with the virus, because some people may not want to admit they were at a social gathering or at a specific event.
There have been so many cases in Toronto, contact tracing is now only being done for outbreaks. And in Alberta, health officials haven't been able to narrow down where 43% of new cases originated. It's a problem, says Craig Jenny, that's ultimately up to all of us to fix.
The one thing we can control in this whole pandemic is our behavior. And it seems like in many instances, we're simply choosing not to.
Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.